Trip back from the Farmers Rally at Canberra, and we're coming down the Hume. We're coming down from Canberra to Albury, and we're now going to head towards as at Albury, and then we're going back to Tarcutta area. But we're at Tarcutta now, and we thought we'd stop here and have a look at the Truckies Memorial at Tarcutta. And Tarcutta is about halfway between Sydney and Melbourne on the Hume, which is, was the interstate run. We're about 130 odd k's north of Albury, north of the New South Wales-Victorian border. So we just thought we might stop here and do a little bit at this because, a lot of what we talk about with Billboard Battalion, what we do, has to do with transport, has to do with our trucking industry, has to do with the movement of food and supplies around the country. So we thought, let's have a stop here. We'll just do a little bit at the Truckies Memorial at Tarcutta. So we might just go for a bit of a look and give people a bit more close up of what's here. So we've got an area that's been set out. We've got flagpoles here, a wall where we've got a lot of memorials to truckies and some of their families also and friends who have died on the road while they've been in truck accidents. And this is always a very, very real threat, danger, possibility. And even going back to the days when a lot of truckies used to take their the missus and kids with them or what have you. And some of these plaques on these walls reflect these terrible situations where there've been accidents, and this has been the result. We've had multiple fatalities. So we just thought we'd pull up and do this so that people can get an appreciation for the risks and the dedication that our truckies put in to get your food on the table, to get your supplies to where they're going, the things that you need that travels around Australia on trucks. So we'll go and have a bit of a closer look at these walls and just some of the things that are on it, so people can just appreciate the effort that's gone into this and the sacrifice that's been made by many in the transport industry in Australia. So if we look here, we've got a few of these monuments. Got the old bulldog there off the Mac, sitting up on, might have to come just this side perhaps. And here we've got a plaque. It says, "In memory of the truck drivers killed on the Australian highways, erected by the Albury and District Road Transport Social Club, 1973. So, there's been a lot going on for a lot of years where people have, had associations and clubs and so on to support truckies and their families. And I think it's fair to say that our truckies who do go on the road, and I've done a bit of that myself actually, had a fair bit to do with that over the years. And the people who stay at home, the people who dad or sometimes mum leaves home possibly on a Sunday night and might not get back for a week or 2 or 3 weeks. These people, they keep the home fires burning. There's always or there used to be always the waiting for a phone call from a truck stop somewhere, when bloke or Sheila would pull up for tea. And that was basically their only connection for possibly weeks on end, depending on where they're running to. And so it takes a very, very special family and very special people to be able to do that. And we really, really must take our hats off to the people who run these industries, because in many cases, they're doing long hours, isolated, as a lot of these plaques and the things that they talk about here say. When we get around the other side here, in many cases it's a very, very lonely life on the road. And we'll just move over here, perhaps Nick can pan around here. We can see a lot of the cost that has been paid by these people to do this, and quite literally to keep Australia moving. And Australia does run on trucks. that's a simple thing. And some of the old stickers you used to see, don't complain about truck drivers if you've got food in your mouth. The same goes for farmers from agriculture. Don't complain about farmers with food in your mouth. And now we're coming up here to this plaque here basically tells you what this is about. And it says here, this memorial is dedicated to the memory of truck drivers who have been accidentally killed on Australian roads while performing their duties in the transport industry. And then it says, have a safe one, mate, catch you on the way back. This panel was unveiled by the Honourable Bruce Baird MP, Minister for Transport, Minister for Roads, 16th of October 1994. And a big part of this is contributed by RECAR Consolidated Industry Proprietary Limited. It says there, Alan Brown, Chairman Managing Director, Ron Pullen and Noel Brown, Memorial Organisers. So, we've got on here, there are a lot of plaques that are put up by a lot of transport companies, a lot of people who are in the transport industry, not necessarily the drivers, but supporters and supporting industries. So this is something where we see everybody in the industry come together and to support our truckies families, and just to honour the dedication and the sacrifice that they make, because over the years you go on the road and that can be your entire life, and families just see you whenever you happen to get back, and sometimes, as I said, that can be for weeks on end. So we come around here, it's even more, and the people who have erected this and the people who maintain it, are doing a fantastic job, and I think it's really, really great to see. And I think that we should see a hell of a lot of more community and schools and so on, come down here and have a look at this memorial here to get an appreciation, particularly these days where so many people, they just think that food comes off the shelf in the supermarket. So the two industries here that we need to really promote and speak to is what we at Billboard Battalion do, and that is our farming industry, our agriculture, our food production, and also our transport system and our transport operators and businesses who get the food and the goods and the produce that you need from wherever they're produced or wherever they're packaged or what have you, out of the warehouses, out of the factories into your supermarkets so you can have it. And sadly these days, as I said, more and more people have got no idea of this. They've got no clue. They just think they go to the supermarket, the food's there and they just get it and that's it. No idea of the sacrifice and of the dedication and the hard work that goes into providing that and put it there. So I think we should see a lot of the schools, for example. Let's just say, what's more important? Well, my way of thinking, and Billboard Battalion, I'm here to tell you right now, where you look at transgender studies or all this crap like that, and transition, all this other BS. No, the schools should be putting their time and effort into educating our kids about Australia and about what they actually really need to live, and how much work goes into providing that for them, so they can actually have some appreciation of all that stuff and actually care, because at the minute they're not educated, they're not learning anything about all this that we see here, and these costs, they're just being brainwashed by garbage in schools and this ideological crap. So, let's get our kids out to look at these kind of things and get some appreciation. I mean, you look at these plaques here, they'll probably never see these things because the school teachers couldn't care less. So, this wall is dedicated to historians, legends and pioneers of road transport. We list them and remember them for their outstanding contribution to the industry. Proudly is sponsored by, Wales Truck Repairs, men and women of the highways and the byways of this land. Your lives were spent on one more load to haul, but while ever we remember you, you'll never really die, even though we see your names upon the wall. Music and lyrics by Joy McKean, performed by Slim Dusty. So I mean, as we continue to walk around here, we see more, and we see more fresh flowers and all that kind of thing. So people are coming here, friends and families of truck drivers are coming here, and you know, this is very, very clearly an incredibly important part of the whole industry and the whole deal, and you know, everybody's memories of their loved ones who, you know, they paid a very, very dear price to keep things rolling and keep Australia rolling. And you know, this is just a great memorial. We'll go over here and have a little bit of a look. We've got a stone here in this little courtyard that we've got one of the old legends, but one of the legends of the industry here in terms of music, and you know, millions of truckies would have listened to Slim Dusty's stuff time and time and time again, from the old days when she was on tape to, you know, even to modern day right now. His songs and music kept so many people entertained, and you know, they just loved it. And he was an Australian who wrote songs about Australia, and we did a live there just before from Gundagai, and the dog on the tucker box. Now this is Slim Dusty sort of country here. This is the sort of stuff that Slim Dusty would do. I've still got at home some of his old LPs, some of the old vinyl LPs from, you know, from when I was young. You know, Slim used to get around the countryside, just an average bloke, doing all these songs and all these entertaining. So we might just finish up here. We've got some more of these memorials on the chairs and seats. Might not sit on them right at the minute because might be just a little bit warm. We've got all the gal pearl in there. She's just been made up out of steel gal pearl, and so we probably won't sit on that. I don't think it'd be a good idea. Reminds me of the old days when we were at school, and the old slides that we had in the yards were just made out of steel, and you go to slide down the slide just after lunch or something like that, and yeah, you'd sort of end up sticking to it and burning to it, and all the old bars that it was made out of, you know, you'd burn your hands and so on. Great stuff, terrific stuff. And in many cases we're just sitting on top of bitumen. There was none of this soft landings for kids and plastic coated this and that. She was used to fall down and break your leg or something like that. That's just, you know, part of the deal. Everybody used to come back to school with casts on their arms and on crutches and things, and everybody would sign them and have a great time, and it was terrific. So, but anyway, we probably won't try and do that today. We're not going to be sitting on this hot metal stuff. Then we just come along here. We've got more of these seats and things like that have been made up, and this is a really, really terrific place here. You know, it is really great, and we've got some nice yards there. And as luck would have it, when I was talking about these play yard equipment today that the kids are, you know, have got to have, well, we look over there, and there is all this new stuff we're talking about. They've got all the wood chips down the bottom and the sun coverings and all the, you know, plastic this, no sharp edges, rounded off, whatever. And that thing there is probably $100,000 to make that. And I can remember when we were kids at school, we'd have a work and be, and all the mums and dads would turn up for a work and be on the weekend. And the next thing you know, they'd have a set of playground equipment there. I remember at this little school we went to at Kai Valley, they set up, they built a flying fox so that we could play on that when we were kids. And I'll tell you right now, the OH&S and all the safety crap these days, you'd be locked up for 20 years if you built such a thing now. But you did learn, don't stick your fingers in things that run on cables. Don't try and hang upside down, drag your head on the ground. Not real good, but anyway, quite a number of kids did. A few stitches in the back of their skull and pulling out a few bits of rocks and things, but anyway, you learnt not to do that again. So anyhow, we've had a good look here, and I'm just looking at one of these plaques here. Was, you know, dedicated by a family that I know. You know, and in memory of a person there who I knew personally, you know, was friends. You know, we used to do business with them and work with them and all that kind of thing like that. So, you know, a lot of this, there's people who will know many of the people here, and that's quite emotional. And it's just really quite terrific. So I think this is a great memorial. I think so many Australians should put this on there. If they're going out around and they're travelling, this should go on your road map as a place to visit. This is Tarcutta, as I said, 130 odd k's north of Albury on the Hume, just off the Hume Freeway. I think the Hume Freeway, when they put it in, sort of bypassed Tarcutta, so that, you know, became another one of those little towns that got cut off. But definitely make this a to visit and look at place, a location, and I think that you'll be able to have a good look at real history. And this to some degree has a similar sort of standing as a lot of the cenotaphs and a lot of the, you know, the return soldiers stuff, where we have, you know, memorials in towns and plaques and dedications. So I think this is a great place to visit. Glad we came here and stopped. Now it's time to get going, head back to Victoria, get back home. We'll cross the border in another hour and a half or whatever, and we'll be back in Vic, and then back along the Murray Valley Highway up through Yarrawonga and Cobram and Echuca, and then back home. So, all right, people. Well, thanks very much for listening, and I hope this has been something that appeals to you. We might just quickly walk this way down the footpath, and we can see these couple of things here. If we can just shoot down here, Nick. For the reason that if anyone comes here, they can possibly see what we're looking at and recognise this park, and, you know, they'll be able to see what they've got here. They've got some little sheds with seats under it where you can stop and have something to eat. If you've got some tucker with you as you're coming down the road. They've got the kids' playground there. We've got some ads here for a motor inn here in Tarcutta. So if we just go a little bit further, they've got electronic barbecues here and more seats and tables and so on. And if we just pan around this way, Nick, we've got another bit of park area here. Some memorials, more good lawns, and just up there, 100 metres to our right, you've got a fairly modern sort of toilet facilities there. More tables here under shelter, and across the road, Servo Roadhouse over there. So yeah, really a good spot to visit if you like Australian history, if you like anything to do with Australia. So, you know, this is one of the cutting edge memorials here, and really speaks to the people that keep our country on the move and what it's costing. So we just thought we might do a little bit of a quick shot from further down the road in the car park here, down near the public toilets there, and this gives us a good overall view, if you like, of the area that we're talking about here, the Truckies Memorial. So this is just another in view so you can see it, and you've got your park here, and then behind that, just to the left on the other side of the road, there's your Truckies Memorial there. So just to give you a bit of view so you can see it when you're coming down the road, and a bit easy to recognise.